Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the most important and, let's be honest, often misunderstood documents in your entire financial life. We're talking about your U.S. credit report.
Ever wonder what's really in your financial DNA? Well, that's kind of what your credit report is. It's this detailed map, this story, all about your habits and your history with money. And you know what? Today, we're going to decode that story together so you can see exactly what it's saying.
All right, so first things first. We have got to clear this up because it's the biggest point of confusion out there. Your credit report, it is not your credit score. They're related, but totally different things. Think of it like this. The report is the detailed history, right? It's the whole story. The score, that's just the final grade, a single number that gets calculated from all that data in your report.
So, let's kick off our tour by digging into what this report card actually is, and more importantly, who gets to see it.
And you might be surprised here. It's not just banks. I mean, sure, lenders look at it, but a whole bunch of other companies use this thing to kind of predict how likely you are to pay your bills. We're talking landlords, insurance companies, even utility and cell phone carriers. Heck, even some employers might ask to see it. Though, it's really important to know they always need your consent for that.
Okay, so the first section you're going to see is all your personal info. Names, addresses, that kind of thing. This part is only there to make sure they've got the right person. That's it. It's just for identity matching, so none of this stuff actually affects your score.
Okay, now we're getting to the real meat and potatoes, the most important part of your report. Let's dive into your credit accounts. You'll hear them called trade lines in the credit world.
So every single account, your credit cards, your student loans, car loans, you name it, gets its own little entry, its own trade line. And it looks kind of like this. It's a snapshot of your whole relationship with that lender. You can see who the creditor is, the account type, when you opened it, your limit, your balance, and this is the big one, your payment history, month by month.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. One of the key things lenders are watching, especially with your credit cards, is something called credit utilization. It's just a fancy term for the percentage of your available credit that you're currently using. Simple math, just take your current balance and divide it by your credit limit. That's your utilization percentage.
And this chart illustrates the goal perfectly. You want to keep that utilization low. Why? Because a high percentage can look like a red flag to lenders, like you might be overextended. The general rule of thumb is to keep it below 30%. But honestly, if you can keep it under 10%, that's a really powerful signal that you've got things under control.
All right, let's move on. And this next part I know can cause some anxiety for people. It's the negative information section. But don't worry, we're gonna demystify it.
So this part of the report is where you'd find stuff like accounts that have been sent to collections. But it's also really important to know what you won't find here anymore. Things like civil judgments and tax liens, they're gone. And there have been some big changes with medical debt too. Paid medical collections are off the report completely, and even unpaid ones won't show up if they're under $500.
And here's the good news. This stuff isn't permanent. It doesn't haunt you forever. As you can see on this timeline, there's a set clock for how long these things stay on your report. Most stuff like a late payment or a collection will stick around for 7 years. A Chapter 7 bankruptcy is the big one. That's on there for 10 years. But eventually, they all fall off your report.
So, with all this personal financial info in one place, you're probably wondering, who's been peeking at my file? That's a great question, and it brings us right to the next section.
Okay, this is a really critical distinction to get. There are two kinds of inquiries, hard and soft. A hard inquiry is when you actively apply for new credit, a new card, a new loan, and yes, that can cause your score to dip just a little bit, temporarily. But a soft inquiry, that's totally different. That's when you check your own report or when a company sends you a pre-approved offer. Soft inquiries have absolutely zero impact on your score. So check your own report as often as you want. It won't hurt you.
All right, we've done the full tour. We've seen all the sections. So now it's time to put you in the driver's seat. Let's get into the good stuff, the clear, simple steps you can take to get your hands on this report and take control.
Okay, this is crucial. You are entitled by law to a free report every single week. And the one and only official government-mandated site to get it from is annualcreditreport.com. I'll say it again, annualcreditreport.com. And when you go there, make sure you request your reports from all three of the big bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion.
Why? Because they don't always have the exact same information, so you want to see them all.
So what happens if you pull your report and, whoops, you see something that's wrong? An account you don't recognize, a payment marked late that you know you paid on time? Well, you have the legal right to dispute it, and the process is actually pretty straightforward. You just contact the bureau that has the error, explain what's wrong, give them any proof you've got, and by law, they have to investigate it, usually in about 30 to 45 days.
I know, when you first get your hands on these reports, they can look a little intense, a lot of pages, a lot of data. So just use this as a quick checklist. First, double-check your personal info. Then, scan those payment grids for any late marks. Take a look at your credit card utilization. Quickly review the collections and public records section. And last, look at those hard inquiries and make sure you recognize every single one.
And really, this is the main takeaway of all of this. Your credit report is not something that just happens to you, right? It's not this scary, mysterious thing that's out of your control. It's a living, breathing document. It's a story that you can actively monitor and influence. And once you understand it, it stops being a source of anxiety and becomes a really powerful tool.
So, now you know how to read the story so far. The only question is, what's the next chapter going to be? Because the power to write it, well, that's in your hands now.